Hello everyone, my name is Tom and today I'm going to be talking about my favourite tobacco blend, St. Bruno. Now I have just picked up another packet of this and I've been waiting to open it to make this video. This is really the first tobacco that I have repurchased, and I've bought two new packets, one to keep completely in the cellar. I'm going to leave it for a while. This one I'm going to open, and I've got my two jars here, one to smoke and then the other jar to age as well. So this is your standard packet that you get in the UK. In the US you get some nice tins, but unfortunately that is not the case here. So here is the description on the back of the packet. The selected Kentucky leaf contributes with character to this blend, and the bright Virginia leaf makes the balance perfect. St. Bruno is a flake tobacco which is steam pressed. St. Bruno is well known by pipe smokers around the world. And this is a MacBaren blend. It was originally made by Ogdens of Liverpool and they've been taken under the MacBaren wing. And I believe since the mid-2010s, I think it was about 2016 or 2017, a Swedish tobacco group has been producing MacBaren for the UK. I hear a lot of talk at the time of this video about Swedish tobacco group taking over the MacBaren production in the US as well. And I think it's already happened over here. So I was unsure about what was going to change about this blend, but I don't think anything else is going to change. Whatever we have here in the UK now is what we have. And this is the packet it comes in. It is just a little plastic tub, sealed like a candy bar, or like a box of chocolates, you know, when you have to peel it open. I think that this is a classic blend. This really has so much character, and I see why it's so popular. I was quite scared to try this at first. I was scared to purchase like a whole packet of it, you know, blind buying it, because I hear so much about the Lakeland essence, and whenever I first decided to pick this up, I was really not about the idea of a Lakeland tobacco. I had tried smoking the Coniston cut plug from Gareth and Hogarth, and I didn't really enjoy it until I let it settle for so long that the essence pretty much disappeared and I was just left with this dark fired tobacco. But this is a dark fired blend. The mix between the dark fired Kentucky and the Virginia, like the packet says, it is a perfect balance. I have enjoyed pretty much every single pipe of this I have had. And the topping on this, the topping or casing, it is so unique and it is so strong, but only to the nose. Whenever you're smoking it, it really does not present the character that you might first imagine when opening the tin or the packet. So let's give this a go. Let's open this up. I'm just going to use my knife here better. So wow. And straight out the gate, it is just so pungent. This isn't like your typical Lakeland as well. I mean, it is a little floral, but there's something so rich about this. And it does have a vinegary note too. The mix of the steam pressing process that the tobacco goes through, that already on its own produces quite the aroma, but whatever they do to this tobacco is fantastic. Now, I'm not exactly sure what the essence is, but I haven't smelled anything else like this. I hear it likened to 1792, which is a dark fired flake, and that has tonka bean as the essence. I wouldn't say this is like that at all. So what we'll do is have a look at the flakes. Now, here we go. Oh, it's a bit bright on the screen there, but that is what they look like. We'll get some close-ups as well. But this is fantastic. I'm going to take out one stack here, and I'm just going to put this straight in the jar. I'm going to be aging this one. The flakes are fantastically presented. I mean, they're so uniform. The tobacco is beautiful, and each one, it just has that perfect character to it. You can see that tobacco. It is a beautiful cup, really beautiful. There we go. And from here, I will start jarring up my smoking stash, and I'll leave the flake that just fell out for us to try. Now, maybe because I've gotten used to this tobacco, it is not so offensive when I'm smelling it. It's like a good memory. It's not like I've been smoking very long either. Last time I opened one of these packets, maybe like 6 months ago. That was my first time trying this tobacco. But I think I'm more accustomed to it now, and it's something that I've been looking forward to a lot. That's why I wanted to share it with everyone here. So I used to be very interested in fragrances, and I still have plenty of fragrances I want to share with you folks on my YouTube channel. Some of those fragrances, but just going off the notes when I smell it, it is very fruity. But in like a stewed fruit kind of way. Almost like similar to mulled wine. And there are some florals there. I would say white flowers. And now I smell it more, it's airing out a little bit. Like I said, I think this tobacco does really well when it's given some room to breathe. A lot of blends are like this. Whenever they're sealed, upon opening, the flavours can feel kind of distant from each other, but once it has some time in the jar, it starts to settle into its real character. But there are some florals. It definitely does have that stewed fruit kind of smell. And then beneath all of that, there is that grassy note from the Virginia. I would say that the Virginia is actually quite prominent in this. This is really what put me onto Virginia blends, is this tobacco. This was a real turning point for me, smoking this for the first time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crumble this up, and I am going to smoke it. What I do like folding up a flake, I just think because this is so fresh out of the tin, it will do well moisture wise to be crumbled up. Now, I don't really think that the moisture level out of the packet is very bad at all, but what I will say is that I find this does get quite dry quite easily. Like, this is crumbling up just in my hands. There aren't many other flakes that I smoke that really just do this. I mean, any Cornell and Deal, any Gareth and Hogarth, it's got a lot more kind of substance in it. Whenever it breaks apart, it's a bit harder to do, but this is just, you know, crumbled. So be wary of that. This does get quite dry, even in the jars, once it starts aging after it's been opened. I do find with the constant opening and closing of the jar, this has just gotten dry very quickly. But it's a great crumble. So here we go. This is what we are going to do now. So I'm using just a cheap John Brumfit. I think this is a billiard. I'm not really too familiar with a lot of pipes and their shapes, but this was one of my first pipes that I was smoking. After a corn cob, I had a couple corn cobs, then I decided to get just a couple cheap briars from my local tobacconist, and I really do think this sings in a corn cob as well. I smoked this very consistently while I was on holiday in America, out of a corn cob. It was fantastic, it was brilliant. The Virginias just go so well in a corn cob, and I would say the same about dark fired. You know, that's Kentucky tobacco. That is American heartland tobacco as far as I'm concerned. But out of a briar, I think there is more of a richness to it. There is more of a, it expands the depth of the tobacco too. At some point, I think it would be great to try out a pipe from like Savinelli or something. But I'm still very early in my pipe journey, so, you know, we'll see about that. Anyway, I'm going to put this tobacco in the jar. I'll save it for later. I really want to see how this does when it ages for a while. I mean, I have a jar that I opened, I have a jar that I took from my first packet, and I've been leaving that for about 4 months now. And that other packet, I'm hoping to get like several years at least on that particular packet, and this jar as well, I'm just going to leave it as long as I see fit. The idea of aging tobacco is something that I'm starting to see the appeal of now. I was listening to a lot of Pipe Currency, who is a member of the YouTube pipe community, and a lot of his videos this year have been about the aged tobacco that he has between his cellars, and so that really just put something in my mind like, okay, this is really an area of the hobby that improves the quality of the smoking over time. And a lot of my friends, pipe smoking friends, have said the same thing. So I just wanted to get that black jacket off so that you could see the pipe better, because black jacket, dark pipe. Anyway, let's give it a smoke and let's see how this does straight out of the tin. Like I said, I think this does a bit better with a bit of breathing room, but let's give it a go. And that topping, it really does sing. It really does sing against the tobaccos. It does not feel apart from it. It does not feel like whenever you smoke an aromatic, it's just kind of placed on top. It's part of the blend. And yeah, those stewed fruits really starting to come through. And you can taste the dark fire tobacco there. It's really the backbone of what makes this tobacco so rich. It reminds me of apples, stewed apples. With dark forest fruits, berries. I just reloaded my lighter, so I'm struggling with the flame being a bit too large. And then the moisture from this tobacco is taking a while to get going straight out of the tin. Whenever this has aired out, it burns a lot more consistently, I would say. But every single puff, there is that topping, there's that fruitiness that just kisses the palate. The more I smoked this blend with my first packet, the more I was able to pick out the Virginias. Whenever they have some time, they really start to express themselves in the blend. And I would say that the Virginias are quite grassy. Right here, they're lending to the sweetness of the blend, and I think that remains true throughout its lifespan. But whenever I smoke it, I wouldn't say it's an overly sweet tobacco. I wouldn't say it's an overly bready Virginia either. I really do think this has that grassy tone to it. Very smooth on the retrohale as well. And this would be a tobacco that I would say is very consistent from the start to the finish, right down to the dottle at the bottom. You know what you're getting, and every puff is just consistent. Whenever I smoke some pure Virginias, the taste is very dependent on the technique. You know, whether or not you are smoking too hot, you're going to lose some of the flavour. And when it comes to Englishes, of course, leaf by leaf, you start noticing the different flavours in the English blend. This is just what it says on the tin. This is dark fired Kentucky, Virginia flake, and it has that fantastic topping. I really love that vinegary smell that comes from this tobacco now. Like I said at the start, I was shocked. I didn't know what to think, but the more time I've spent with it, I get why people would only smoke this. This is called one of those codger blends, you know, old blokes smoke St. Bruno. This is classic pipe tobacco. And it's a classic for a reason, for sure. that first puff, so much of the topping. And now it's just going through waves of Virginia and dark fired. If you've ever smoked 1792, this has a lot of the same palate feel as 1792. You know, I've never tried the older formulations of this. That being said, I think it got reformulated before I was born anyway. They had to change out some of the ingredients for toxicity issues, but whatever MacBaren has been doing with this is fantastic. A lot of Virginia in that puff there. I was really worried about trying St. Bruno as well because it was a MacBaren blend. And the only other UK MacBaren I had tried was Three Nuns. And I heard about Three Nuns. I heard it was a great tobacco, a classic, C.S. Lewis's favourite tobacco. And it was absolutely disgusting. It was a terrible smoke. It smelled like, I opened up the packet, it smelled like mushrooms. And it tasted like cardboard. And it was just disgusting. And I gave it so many chances until eventually I just threw out the half of the packet. I reckon I went through nearly a half of it, like just chain smoking it, trying to find something good about St. Bruno, sorry, about Three Nuns. And there was just nothing in it. There was nothing there. Now I do hear that the American coin cut Three Nuns is fantastic. I haven't had the chance to try it, and I would still be wary of buying it because of this terrible experience I had with the UK over-the-counter version. But I hear this similar discrepancy with St. Bruno now that STG is taking over the American MacBaren production. I've heard people who have tried the new STG formulation say that it's lost its quality, it's a downgrade. Now I have no idea about that, I really don't, and it just confuses me. Why are these tobaccos so different? I mean, okay, different markets and stuff, but what is really so different about the tobacco itself? If you know anything, let me know in the comments. Why are American and British MacBaren products different like this? But I'm about halfway through this bowl now. I've been ranting quite a bit. Honestly, I don't even know if I'm halfway. I'm probably working my way through the center, the core of the bowl, but there's still plenty around, so I'll have a few more puffs and then I reckon we'll call the video there. Again, this is just fantastic tobacco. Every single puff, there's a little expression of its character. Like the Virginias in that puff were just coming out more. They were sweet, they were grassy, but there was definitely that steam pressing character. And I really enjoy that about Gowith's Best Brown Flake. The steam pressing on the Best Brown Flake is just beautiful. It really makes the sugars in that Virginia come out. And I would say that is very similar here too. And that beautiful dark fired note. a fantastic smoke overall. This is one of my, I think this is a lifetime blend for me. I feel like you could just put this in a pipe and blindfolded, I'd know what it is. It is so distinct. So straight out of the tin, it's a 10 out of 10. With some time, it's a 10 out of 10. With age, I'm imagining it can only get better from here. And I'd say for those who enjoy 1792, this is a fantastic tobacco to try if you haven't already tried it. For those who really enjoy the aromatic nature of American aromatic tobaccos, that sweet, desserty nature, this is like Christmas for real. Like if you've got some of these Gareth and Hogarth aromatics, a lot of them, it's like dessert, but this is so natural, it is so well balanced, and it's so rich too. It's nowhere near as sweet as something like a black cherry exclusive from Gareth and Hogarth, nowhere near as sweet, but it's got that natural ripeness to it. So my only suggestion is go out and try it. Go out and smoke it. If you have a local tobacconist, pick this up at your local shop. Support the local businesses in your area that keep this hobby alive. And if you're American, see if you can pick up some of those old formulations. Again, I don't know the difference. This is just brilliant. It's brilliant. I don't know how this and Three Nuns can be made by the same factory, by the same company. I have no idea, because this is choice. Thank you very much for joining me today. Have a great one, guys.